Number one is about a guy seeing numbers floating around the house whenever he eats his mom's cooking. After every meal, the number starts to count down, and he comes to believe that whenever the number reaches zero, his mother will pass away. And because of that, he slowly begins distancing himself from her, eventually moving away, thinking it's for her sake. This movie stars Choi Woo-shik, who plays Hamin, the number seer. Jang Hye-jin plays his mom, and Gong Seung-yeon plays Hamin's girlfriend. The mother-son combo from Parasite are reunited here, but kudos to both actors. I wasn't reminded of Parasite at all throughout the film. They are playing such different characters here that you are not distracted by the familiar mother-son dynamic. But that said, I found the movie overall to be a bit bland. The premise is interesting, like genuinely. Just the main idea of the numbers had piqued my interest in wanting to see this. But whatever preliminary ideas you get from hearing about the premise is sort of all you get. Like, it's an interesting idea, but I don't know if it's enough to sustain a feature-length movie. And the interesting premise kind of gets in its own way. Like, the countdown is effective for conveying a sense of limited time we have with our parents, but as a viewer, the real crux of the movie is going to come down to how the characters deal with the situation when the number reaches the final countdown. So I couldn't help but think, all right, let's speed this up and skip to the single digit part. And that's partly due to the weak middle portion where things really kind of drag. Like, there are many scenes that sort of happen and end without any real reason. Like, for example, the scenes related to Hamin's day job. I guess it's to show that he's been working hard, that he's been drinking a lot. Maybe? Why am I even having to guess about this? The movie also does a lot of storytelling through characters simply talking to each other. There are multiple times where two people are sitting across the table discussing their feelings and situations. But by the fourth, fifth time you're seeing this, it's the same setup and it doesn't feel cinematic. It actually came across as lazy. Please find more creative ways to do exposition dialogue. The numbers appearing and counting down is something we are asked to not question, but just accept. So Hamin has no doubt that it's an indicator of how many meals remains until his mother dies. So we, the audience, also just accept it as well. The movie doesn't really explain why the numbers started appearing in the first place, and it never establishes the rules of how the number mechanisms work. I wish the movie played around with the idea a bit more, like with scenes showing Hamin experimenting with the numbers. Like, what happens if the mom orders takeout and puts it on a plate for you? Like, what happens if she microwaves leftovers from the previous night? Like, does that count as another meal? The film isn't interested in the logistics of the numbers because it serves as a narrative device to get the audience thinking about our parents. The problem is, without understanding why the numbers appear, like, we also have no framework for how the numbers could possibly be stopped or reversed. So when we reach the conclusion of the movie, it doesn't really land with real impact. It's another moment of us just having to accept and not ask questions. We aren't supposed to be picky about the mechanism. Then is the theme delivered well? Like, the obvious message of the numbers is for us to be conscientious of the limited time we have with our parents and with our loved ones. Manifesting that message through a literal countdown is already very in your face. But just in case you missed it, there are some cringy dialogue moments that really hammer it home. And just in case even that wasn't enough, there is a final text that's splashed on the screen and a photo slideshow that is so blunt with the messaging, I felt it had cheapened it for me. Like, by the end, I had the same feeling I get when you're reading those inspirational memes on Instagram. Like, even though I completely agree with the message of the movie, spending meaningful time with your parents, like, the delivery felt so obvious that it had trivialized the theme. Performance-wise, though, I think the actors do a great job. Choi Woo-shik and Jang Hye-jin present a convincing mother-son dynamic. Jang Hye-jin is quickly becoming Korea's mom across all the movies and TV shows. And Gong Seung-yeon does the best she can with the material she has to work with. Her character has a particular backstory that leads her to quickly bond with Hamin's mom, and I couldn't help but compare it to Once We Were Us, which has a almost identical circumstance with the girlfriend bonding with the boyfriend's parent. I felt Once We Were Us handled that relationship in a much more convincing and heartwarming way. Here, it was kind of rushed and inauthentic. To wrap, this is a very simple movie that has a clear theme and message and not much else. Hence, the movie resorts to repeatedly going back to the same well. that it dulled any emotional reaction and had me waiting for the movie to get to the end. And when it did finish, all that was left was an unsatisfactory and unearned feeling. But hey, at least all the food shots look very delicious. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.